Let's talk about electric vehicles. Energy Service Life. That's Middle Tennessee Electric. We're here to get done what matters most to you. Learn more at mte.com.
Rutherford Issues on News Radio WGNS.
Rutherford Issues powered by Middle Tennessee Electric, their charitable foundation Sharing Change. Well, what they do as members of MTE, you round up your electric bill to the nearest dollar each month, and then MTE makes donations on your behalf to hundreds of local nonprofits. Find out more at sharingchange.org. Time for our conversation to turn to the Better Business Bureau. James Price is here, and we were just talking about, schools underway for, the kiddos, and college soon, and fall is here. We're talking football today and all kinds of things here on the air. So, you can kind of anticipate a busy fall coming up, it sounds like.
Yeah, I see it coming right down the pike. It's football season weather,
It hopefully is going to get there. Football season's usually pretty hot in the beginning anyway, isn't it?
Right. I just remember the old two-a-days. It's like, drag yourself to practice twice a day, but you got to get ready for it.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
You actually are participating locally in some football, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So New Vision, which we'll talk about a little later here for the Men's Expo coming up, they have a flag football league that men can still sign up for. Actually, there's a women's league right now that women can still sign up for. They're playing right now. The men's will start September 9th, but we have close to 300 guys that are signed up for this flag football league.
You're one of the refs that we can heckle?
Yes, absolutely. So we're trying to keep people straight out there.
You never make a bad call, though, all right, I guess.
I'm not going to say that.
So that sounds like a lot of fun as well. But all of this to say, college MTSU gets started. I talked to my daughter about this yesterday as she's getting ready to pay for the classes and all that kind of thing. And I think she said the 27th, somewhere around there. So, and you can always notice on Facebook, there are people on there saying, I'm looking for someone who would be willing to, have a roommate this semester and that kind of thing. So we're seeing a lot of that activity go on now.
Yeah, it's really good. And, the other thing too is about getting up and going to college, it's like, it's exciting, for people. And so like they're going, oh, I got to find a roommate, and I got to do this, and I got to do that. I got to get some supplies. I'm kind of ready to go. And so what they do is, they see, ooh, there's a deal on this. Oh, look, there's a deal. Ooh, this credit card ooh, they're going to give me a credit card. I can kind of spend my payments. So, it's real easy for somebody venturing into college to make some critical mistakes really quick that could affect them for years. I
remember doing the same. It was, you get a free T-shirt if you sign up for this, credit card. Yeah,
right.
That big mistake.
Yeah, I can get a $2 T-shirt down the road. Yeah. So we're going to talk about 6 scams for college students to avoid, and there's probably more than 6, but these are probably some of the top 6. And of course, college students must spend, money on tuition payments and school supplies and prepare for the new year. Of course, scammers, whenever they see money flowing, they want to jump into it. They want to take the opportunity to steal some of that money through schemes and scams, and they have their own agenda that they're going after. So one tactic used to get students, personal information is a phishing email that claims to be from the school's financial department. Messages by text or email, they may appear, come up instructing the student to click on a link and provide some email information. Be very, very cautious about that kind of stuff, because as you're going into school for the first time, you may think this is SOP, just standard operating procedure for the college, when actually it's the scammers who are taking advantage that you don't know any better yet. And so, be careful about logging in, maybe using your student ID or your password, because now you've just given all that up. Just don't do it. Doing so could give people your information and then download malware into your device, and then they got you hooked for a while until you kind of figure out what's going on. So whether you're starting school away from home or, you have young students who are vulnerable to such scam, BBB recommends watching out for some these financial scams heading into this, this new semester. And so one of the first ones that come up here is this fake credit cards. Offers to apply for the first credit card are tempting to students as they're going out on their own. Hey, I could use this credit card to when I'm short on cash and I got to buy some meals, or I got to go to a bar and I don't have my allowance in yet. And so not only could this create credit problems down the road due to unchecked spending, which is exactly what happens.
Sure.
You're not living on your budget. But some deals could be phony offers designed to access, your personal information. Research all the offers on credit cards and banking institutions before applying. And, if you really need a credit card, who's the bank you've been dealing with? Go to the bank you've had your account with for all the years and ask them, hey, you have a credit card? I think I might need one for emergencies, or a rent a car, because if you need to rent a car, you're going to have a credit card. So,
or initiate that conversation yourself, not from offers that come in, especially on text or email or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anytime you're responding to something else, your opportunity for being scammed goes way up. So, the next one is too good to be true apartments. It's hard not to jump on a convenient apartment so close to the campus, especially if it advertises affordable rent. It's tempting to hand over a credit card information and lock into this great spot. It's always worth seeing the apartment in person before a money transfer. This also applies to Craigslist and social media ads appearing to be from other students looking for roommates. And you can learn more about this on rental scams on bbb.org. But the other part about, they say go look at it. I can tell you that here, even locally at MTSU, we get calls first of the year from parents and saying, hey, we rented this apartment. It's trashed. The carpets look like they're from the 40s. And no telling how many, college parties have been in this room and what's been on this floor. And, and then there's things like mold. I mean, I hear this every year. So,
but did you actually visit before you started a contract?
Right. So actually go look at it, and then don't just walk in and just look around. I mean, look under the sinks and look where mold could appear, maybe AC filters, that kind of stuff. You might want to get look up some stuff online that says, here's some of the things you might want to look for when you're, looking at a place to rent. The next one's ID theft. It's a good idea to start practicing healthy money habits. And one such habit is to regularly check your checking and credit card report for unusual activity and possible fraud. There's an official government website to do this where you can do it for free. It's annualcreditreport.com. And you can read BBB's article on how to know if someone stole your identity by going to bbb.org and looking that up.
And you get 3 free credit reports per year with annualcreditreport.com.
Yeah.
From the 3 agencies.
Yeah. So,
okay.
You can get it for free at that website. Yeah. So I would do that, just make sure that nobody's using your information. And again, check your checking account balance and that kind of stuff to make sure that, nobody's like taking you for a ride. And
you can do one or you can do all 3, but just remember that all 3 take your free for the year away. So if you spread those out, that usually helps too. Every 4 months you could check.
Yeah. And if you got something bad hitting your credit report, it's probably hitting all 3 anyway.
Yeah.
So just check one of them at a time. Scholarship and grant scams. Beware of phone calls from companies guaranteeing they can help reduce loan payments or offer a hefty grant. Searching the company's name online could help bring up scams and alerts or negative reviews from other consumers. Read reviews and complaints about the company on bbb.org and contact the school's financial aid office for advice on maybe getting some of this financial aid. They're going to have the best information. Scholarship scams can affect college students long after graduation. So if you think that you're the only one that knows about this grant or scholarship offer, I mean, you're just kidding yourself, and you're saying, well, if I go tell the financial office, then all the students are going to know about it. Well, the financial office is going to be able to tell you, yeah, it's a scam. So be open about it, and make sure you're talking through those things. Online shopping scams, online purchases scams can be especially effective at setting up, through social media platforms and apps. BBB has tips for shopping online and a page dedicated for online shopping tips and scam alerts. Online shopping scams is one of the biggest scams that we have out there. I mean, we have roofing and paving we've talked about a lot, but employment scams and shopping online scams are huge. I read one this morning here that was local, where somebody had ordered something online and didn't get what they were supposed to get. So you got to be careful about those things.
And I think you got one more for us about scams.
Yeah, just awareness of current scams. As tech-savvy college students, can be, a surprising number of scams reported to Scam Tracker are from students who learned their lesson too late. So your first, college class, maybe Scam 101. Get in here and, bonehead scam class, go to BBB, look them up, see what those scam tips are, and make sure that, you're not getting taken for a ride. You can read more on BBB, 9 ways for students to avoid ID theft on campus. It's just, just be careful out there. You're going to school, the scammers are going to try and take advantage of you, and the last thing you need is another bill that's going to rack up big money because you got into a credit card that you really don't need in the first place.
Bills are big enough, or apartment scam, or all those. Those are some very important tips for parents who may have kiddos heading back to college or going to college for the first time. So some important information there. Before our time gets away, James, I know wanted to chat about Songwriters Night coming up, right?
Yeah, so this is the 5th annual Songwriters Night. It's going to be September 29th at the at the factory in Franklin. And companies can showcase their goods, or anybody can buy a ticket to go to Songwriters Night. Danielle Breezy is going to be our mistress of ceremonies again, so she's back again. And then so some of the songwriters that we have coming in: Wyatt McCubbin, he's a songwriter originally from Ohio, southwestern Ohio, and he's worked with artists like Merrill Haggard, George Jones, Charlie Daniels, Dwight Yoakam, and more. And then we have Eric Dillon. He's a frequent contributor to Luke Combs and Riley Green. And then we have Bryce Long, who he's been in the business 25 years, and he has songs with artists like Garth Brooks and George Strait, Hank Williams Jr., and Reba McEntire, many others on there. So it's a heck of a night.
And so these are the actual songwriters for those artists. So they would be singing some of those popular songs that that they wrote.
Right.
Yeah.
I know last year one of the artists that got up there, they were debuting a song that she had just written, and the month after that it hit the charts.
Oh wow! How about that?
Yeah, so it's
very cool.
It's a really fun night. There's food and just kind of camaraderie. Let's not forget Men's Expo at New Vision coming up this Saturday. Men, you can go to newvisionlife.com and sign up and learn about biking and weightlifting and cooking on the grill and all kinds of stuff, and
scams.
And scams. And BBB will there to kind of warn you what the biggest scams of 2023 are.
Well, that's going to be this Saturday at New Vision. Check out newvisionlife.com/events. It'll take you right to that section. James, appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
James Price of the Better Business Bureau joining us today.
Hello, this is Lenny Farmer with Jennings & Ayers Funeral Home. Often when a man or woman finish pre-planning their funerals with me, I hear, "We should have done this 10 years ago," or "I thought about doing this years ago, but just never got around to it." Seems that we often put off the inevitable for ourselves. As one wise pastor put it, it's never too late to do what's right. Why not mark down on your calendar to call me to talk about your funeral needs at 615-893-2422. It's never too late.
It's time for a reading of today's obituaries. Josephine Chapman Beals, age 84 of Murfreesboro, passed away August the 5th. She is survived by her daughters, Bonnie Mullican, Patricia Apple, grandson Taylor Mullican, and 2 great-grandchildren. She was preceded in death by her husband, Joe Dan Beals, infant daughter Kelly Irene, parents Melba and Joe Lloyd Chapman. She was a native of Lewisburg, Tennessee, graduate of Marshall County High School, and a member of Kingwood Heights Church of Christ in Murfreesboro. Visitation will be 10 a.m. today, Wednesday, until the funeral services at 12 noon. Woodfin Memorial Chapel in charge of these services, with Brother Ronnie Klein officiating. Graveside services will be 2 p.m. today at Lone Oak Cemetery, Lewisburg, Tennessee. These are the arrangements today for Josephine Chapman Beals. Mr. Wilson Joseph Loncloss, age 75, passed away Monday, August the 7th. He was born in Leonville, Los Angeles, to the late Dudley and Mabel Thomas Loncloss. Mr. Loncloss proudly served his country in the United States Air Force for 20 years. Survived by his daughters, Kathy Loncloss, Julie Hoover, and her husband Paul, and Lindsay Langfield. Grandchildren, Taylor, Jordan, Gavin, Hayden, and Henry, sister Florence Richard, and many nieces and nephews. In addition to his parents, he was preceded in death by his wife, Carol Loncloss, and brother, Curly Loncloss. A celebration of life will be held at a later date for Mr. Wilson Joseph Loncloss. Woodfin Chapel in charge of these services. I'm Steve Thornton.
Murfreesboro Funeral Home and Cremation Services.
People that come in to pre-plan their funerals and put it down in writing makes it a whole lot easier on the children at the time of their death.
Keith Stapleton, manager of the Murfreesboro Funeral Home. Visit murfreesborofuneralhome.com.
Carolyn Rose Hoganson, age 82 of Murfreesboro, passed away on August the 5th. She was preceded in death by her brother, John Pyatt, and sister, Mary Lane, survived by her loving husband of 43 years, Edward Hoganson. Their children, Robert Friedmeier, Kim Wood, Tim Friedmeier, Randy Friedmeier, Maureen Everding, Edward Hoganson, Robert Hoganson, grandchildren, and a host of other family members. A celebration of life will be held at Murfreesboro Funeral Home on Saturday, August the 12th at 1 p.m. with Pastor Bob Bush officiating. These are the arrangements today for Carolyn Rose Hoganson. Miss Bessie Louise Arnold, age 77 of Murfreesboro, transitioned from this earthly life to eternal life on Saturday, August the 5th. She leaves a host of devoted family members and friends to cherish her memory. The arrangements are incomplete at this time, and the completed obituaries will be forthcoming. Please keep the family of Miss Bessie Louise Arnold in your thoughts and prayers. Arrangements entrusted to Scales & Sons Funeral Home. Mr. Walter Jackson, age 100 of Murfreesboro, transitioned from this earthly life to eternal life on Saturday, July the 29th. He leaves a host of devoted family members and friends to cherish his memory. The arrangements are incomplete at this time, and the completed obituary will be forthcoming. Please keep the family of Mr. Walter Jackson in your thoughts and prayers. Services entrusted to Scales & Sons Funeral Home. Mr. Rodney McKinnon passed away August the 7th. Arrangements will be announced at a later date. Nelson & Sons Funeral Home in charge of these services. For WGNS Radio, I'm Steve Thornton.
There is no greater honor than to help you say goodbye to your loved one. For generations, it has been our privilege to serve you with dignity and respect. Let us help you plan a meaningful way to celebrate the life of your loved one. I'm Shannon Whitfin Parsons with Whitfin Funeral Chapels and Cremation Services, Murfreesboro and Smyrna, serving you and your family since 1893.
This is Rutherford County's Blue Raider station, FM 100.5 and 101.9, AM 1450, WGNS, Murfreesboro.
Whatever you hope to achieve in life, one principle will be key to your success. Don't quit, even when the odds seem against you. The Rubik's Cube is the best-selling children's toy in history. It was invented in 1974 by Erno Rubik, an architectural design professor who used the cube to teach his students how to analyze design problems in 3 dimensions. But before his students could use the cube, Rubik had to figure out how to solve it himself. That posed an immense challenge. The Rubik's Cube has over 43 quintillion combinations. If everyone on Earth did one combination,